Hi everyone, it's me again and welcome back to my channel one more time. In today's video, it's going to be about the Q&A, the question and answer. So I'm going to answer the top 10 questions that I got asked the most as an ex-Buddhist monk. For those who have been following my journey for some time, you're probably familiar with my story. I have been a monk. I used to be a monk for almost 11 years in total. I started at very young age when I was 8.5, well, almost 9 actually. It was an amazing journey, a wonderful journey. I've grown a lot and I've learned so much from it. Looking back, I'm so proud of myself and I'm so glad I did it. So yeah, no regret for me. So the number one question that I got asked all the time is, why do you become a monk? Well, if you talk to different people, they will give you different answer to why people become a monk, because different people join temple for different reasons. For a lot of Buddhist people, young boys or men are expected to join a temple at some point in their life in order to learn the way of Dharma or the way of Buddha's teaching. And also to develop the deeper understanding of the Buddhism, what does it mean to be a Buddhist person and what is it like to live in a temple as a monk. And also the best way to show gratitude, love and respect to your parents is by joining the temple to become a monk as the way to thank them, for raising you up. In our culture, we were taught at very young age that we had to give back to what we were given. And by becoming a monk is probably one of the best ways to return the kindness to your parents. So once you join a temple, your parents will be very proud of you. I don't know why it's such a big thing in Buddhist culture. Well, I suppose that maybe because the temple is probably one of the best places that you will be trained to behave and to discipline. So basically you're kind of doing your parents some favor in that sense, and they will love you so much. Also, when you join a temple, you're not just only devoting your time and your life for your family only, but also you're helping to preserve this beautiful tradition, and that is considered to be a beautiful and humble thing to do in our culture. But again, like I said, people join temples for different reasons. Some join temple because they like it. Life in a temple can be so peaceful. Others join temple for school purpose. So the temple is like boarding school, it's a place where you can get education. You live with different boys from different backgrounds, from different culture, and you live together in harmony like a big family. So it's very interesting in that way. At the same time, you get education. For me, the reason that I became a monk is because the environment where I grew up was not very healthy for both physical and mental. So I grew up in a broken apart family and very violent. My dad was alcoholic and he got very violent. For several years, it was a normal thing for us to wake up in the morning to see my dad beat my mom up, things like that, and it becomes a everyday life thing. Times after time, I ran away because I hated it. I didn't want to see it. I don't know how to say, it's so helpless. You're a child and you just saw your dad beat your mom up and you just couldn't help her. The best way you could do is just run away, because if we did help my mom, then we get beat up as well. So many times that my brother and I, we ran away together and we would came home only when we get hungry, and only to realize that my father had hid all the food and rice to punish us. And the peak point is when my family got kicked out of the village by the village chief. To be fair, my dad was not a decent man as we expected him to be. So before he passed away, he did something very, very wrong. I don't think anyone in the village would have done something like that, but he did it. I have no idea why. I never asked him, and I didn't have a chance to ask him either. Even after he passed away, the legacy that he passed down to us is like a nightmare. So my whole family lived with all this prejudice and hatred from the villagers until the village chief, kicked us out. And that's when my mom thought, well, maybe this is a good chance for us to just get away from here. And that's when she decided to send me away. So yeah, from only 3 months, that was during the school break, I remember it so well. I thought I was going to become a monk for just a few months to try it, as I still miss my family so much. But then after I moved closer to Luang Prabang, I decided to, give myself a chance to stay longer, and then I got a chance to study as well. And then from 3 months to a year, from 1 year to 4 or 5 years, and then up until almost 11 years. And it was a beautiful journey, and I've learned so much from it, like I said, and yeah, it's part of my life. And question number 2 is, what is the minimum age requirement to become a monk? Well, the minimum age requirement is start at 10 years old. However, my case is different. Like I said, I was only 8.5, almost 9 years old. However, my master can count another 9 months in my mom's belly. So add that up, I become almost 10 years old. And plus, I was quite mature at that age. So back in the day, I'm not sure if they're still doing it now, before you become a monk, you can't just go straight to the temple and shave your head like that. Back in the day, you have to pass 7 days trial, just like me and my friends did. So me and my 2 other friends, we came together to the temple to represent ourselves, telling where we are from and stuff like that. And we have to stay in the temple like this, like a little boy, like a layman. And within the 7 days, the master have to keep an eye on, to see if you're capable handling this task or not. And after 7 days, it turns out that all of us passed the test. And then we finally got ordained in the morning, and we were very happy. And question number 3 is, how long can you stay in the temple? Well, there's no limit. You can stay as long as you want, and you can leave anytime you want as well. The shortest time that one can stay in a temple is 3 to 7 days. That only happened, when somebody died. So basically in Buddhist culture, if somebody died, then one of the family members has to join a temple, to be a short-term novice or monk. We believe that by doing that, you're gonna help the spirit, to rest in peace and stuff like that. But if you're gonna try to become a monk anyway, I would suggest maybe stay up to 3 months or half a year. 3 days or 7 days, you're not gonna learn anything. And question number 4 is, what is day-to-day life like in the temple? Well, the daily routine is pretty much the same every day, like pretty boring in fact. So we start our day at 4 o'clock by ringing the bell, waking up early morning and ringing the bell, and that's to alarm everybody that it's time to wake up to pray. So after ringing the bell at 4, everyone then gather in the main hall, and then we pray and then follow meditation. And after that, we clean the temple, like sweep the yard and mop the floor. And then we would go out to collect food, or what we call it, the almsgiving ceremony, at 5:30 or 6. And after that, we came back to the temple and we eat breakfast. And after that, we go to school. For those who don't go to school, they just hang around the temple and study about Buddha's teaching, studying English, whatever. And then after school, we came back to the temple at 11 o'clock and we start our lunch. So monks eat only 2 meals per day, breakfast at 7:30 and lunch at 11 to 11:30, and after that you're not allowed to eat. So after lunch, again, sometimes we get invited to join the ceremony, like house blessing ceremony, ordination ceremony, funeral ceremony, whatever ceremony that they need us, we have to be there. Or if we got no invitation, we just hang around and study Buddha's teaching, or just have a nap. And then at 4 o'clock, we have to ring the bell again to alarm everyone that it's time for work. So by that time, everyone helping each other out to clean the yard and water the plants. And then at 5 o'clock, we gather in the main hall again for evening chanting, and then followed by meditation. And after that, you can study Buddha's teaching, you can study English, you can go sleep, whatever you wanted. So that's it. And question number 5 is, what can monks do to contribute to the society? Well, monks and lay people are relying on each other in a certain way. For example, monks relying on the local people with the food. Like every morning you saw monks go collect food and sticky rice. So villagers would donate food, and the robe that we wear is all from them, so they donate to us. Now, what monks can do to give back to the community? Well, monks is like a mentor, so they have to be in a temple and more like standby, like be ready for the invitation. So in Buddhism, we have a lot of ritual ceremonies that involve having a monk there, like I said, house blessing ceremony, ordination ceremony, offering ceremony, funeral ceremony, even a wedding ceremony that monks will get invited for the blessing and stuff like that. You have to be there. You have to be able to perform, not just perform, but to perform it good. So that's what we give back to the society. Question number 6 is, can monks have sex? Unfortunately, no, monks cannot have sex. Sexual engagement or sexual activity is prohibited in the temple, is part of the rule. So we have 10 precepts and 220 precepts that monks and novices have to follow, and sexual engagement is one of them. So it's fully prohibited. If you want to have sex, you have to leave the temple. If you get caught having sex in the temple, you'll be kicked out and you'll be disqualified in the future when you want to join the temple again. So that is totally against the rule. And question number 7 is, can monks wear underwear? Yes, we can. It's not like we're gonna leave our balls hanging down like that. In the past, it's not allowed, but now everything has changed. This is the thing I like about Buddhism, because it evolved and it changed with time. So yes, we can wear underwear. And question number 8 is, what is the hardest part being a monk? For me, I think the hardest part is probably the meditation. I mean, despite more than 10 years living in the temple, I still find it very difficult to meditate sometimes. My mind just so naughty and it doesn't stay still. And no matter how hard I try, it doesn't cooperate. So it just goes like miles away, and I find it very challenging. And other than that, I think it's the Buddha's teaching is the hardest for me. I mean, being a monk, like I said, the longer you stay, the more people expect you to be good at what you're doing. So the chanting script is like this thick book. You have to be able to recite it all. And sometimes when you get invited to a big ceremony, the chanting is very long and you have to be able to say it all without looking at the book. And sometimes your performance is not very good. It can be because you forget what you have learned, or simply because you have a bad day. You just are not in the mood. And when the performance is not very good, then you get the look that people give you. They probably think that, what have you been doing all these years? You have a lot of time, why don't you study? So that's the hardest part. And sometimes you'll get people come to the temple and they ask for a lottery number. It's very un-Buddhist at all. I mean, I don't know why people do that to the monk. They just come to the temple and they ask for a lottery number and they expect monk to know the winning number, and I don't know, and sometimes you got blamed because you don't know about it, and it's so annoying. And question number 9 is, does Buddhism believe in heaven or hell? Yes, we do. However, if you live in a temple for a long time and if you studied Buddhism deeper, more than just surface, you'll surprise how different the context of the heaven and hell is explained in Buddhism. Even a lot of Buddhist people believe that heaven and hell in Buddhist way is when you die, that you will go to hell if you do bad and you go to heaven when you do good. When actually the terms of heaven and hell that we talk a lot in the temple is more like something that you can perceive or you feel within this life. Is, for example, hell is like the suffer or the suffering that other people cause you, or you cause it to yourself, or you cause it to other. It's the unease, the unrest that you feel within you, the irritating, whatever you call it, and that is more like the real term of explanation referring to hell. And the same goes for the heaven. It's more about the joy, the peace, and the happiness that you found within. It can be from other source, like you do something good to other people and they're happy. You feel like, okay, you have done something great for other people, and it goes to the same that those who do something to you. So it's more like that. And the question number 10 is, are you a religious person? The answer is no, I'm not. Despite being a monk for over 10 years, I don't feel like I'm a religious person or anything. In fact, I don't feel like Buddhism is a religion. To me, Buddhism is more like the philosophy and the way of life and all the wisdom that you learn, the teaching of the Buddha, and you use it within this life. It's about how you look at yourself and you look to other, how you bring the impact within you, and use it as the guidance in your everyday life. Even the chanting and stuff like that, all the scripts are all in Pali, but if you translate those into Lao, to English, it has nothing to do with the next life or anything. It's about the storyline of the Buddha. This is where he started, this is his life, he done this, and this is what he left behind, all the teaching that he discovered. You can use this as your guidance, and you're responsible to your own journey. That's it, nothing more. Alright, so I'm gonna add another 3 questions that I got asked the most. Number 1 is, can anyone, including those who are not Buddhist, become a monk or join a temple? Yes, you can. For those foreign national, if you want to become a monk and live in Laos, first thing you have to find a temple that will accept you, and second thing you have to get the approval or the permission from the Lao Buddhism Association in Vientiane capital. Once you have that, then you can ordain to become a monk. Like I said, pick a temple, find a temple that would accept you. And also to become a monk, it costs some money. You know, with the ceremony, you have to invite some monks to perform the ritual, and also you have to invite people to join the ceremony. You have to find a sponsor for that. If you have the money, you can sponsor it yourself. What you have to pay is the orange robe that you're gonna wear, and some gift that you have to donate to the monk as part of the ritual. And you may want to host some meal or some drink for the people that you invited for the ceremony. So it can be small ceremony, it doesn't have to be big, but a lot of Lao people, they prefer it big. So yeah, family would spend a lot of money for the ceremony. And another question is, where did I study my English? Well, I studied at the temple again. Back in the day, I was very lucky. So this guy from California, he came to Luang Prabhat and he fell in love with it. And later on, he set a free class at the temple where I get to study with him like on and off for 8 months something, and then he left back to the US. And another teacher came in. She is from Switzerland, but she lived in the state for 20 years. So she speaks perfect English. It's like a native speaker. And I got a chance to study with her for some time, and that's where I picked my accent. Anyway, that's it for today's video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Bye.